Many famous and deadly criminals, like El Chapo, have managed to escape from prison.
Look at your TV screen right now. The dramatic moments just before, just when El Chapo disappears.
Well, that's because their life revolves around deception, violence, and planning. But what if we told you that the Nissan CEO once escaped the country, and that too in a music equipment box? Yes, you heard that right. Carlos Ghosn, ex-Nissan CEO, was arrested in Tokyo for financial misconduct and fled Japan in an unorthodox way. But why was he arrested? And how did he manage to escape the country? Also, what is he currently doing? If you're a Nissan fan and don't know about this incident, then we question your loyalty to the brand. So, who is Carlos Ghosn? Carlos Ghosn is a big name in the car industry and has had a career that's taken him all over the world. He started working in 1978 at Michelin, which is Europe's biggest tire company. Over 18 years, he worked his way up and even managed operations in South America. Later, he became the CEO of Michelin North America, but that wasn't the end of his success. He went on to become the chairman and CEO of Renault, the chairman of Autovaz, the chairman and CEO of Nissan, and the chairman of Mitsubishi Motors. Our point of discussion is him as the chairman of Nissan and his escape in a box. So, we'll be focusing on that aspect of his career. In March 1999, Renault and Nissan teamed up to create the Renault-Nissan alliance. Just a couple of months later, in May 1999, Renault purchased 36.8% of Nissan, which gave them a major stake in the company. Around this time, Ghosn took on an important role at Nissan. While still working at Renault, he became Nissan's chief operating officer in June 1999. By June 2000, he was promoted to president of the company, and in June 2001, he became the chief executive officer, or CEO, taking on a key leadership role during a critical time for Nissan. Under his leadership, the company turned around from a dire financial situation and became one of the most profitable automakers in the world. He implemented significant cost-cutting measures and focused on innovation and expansion into new markets. If you want a detailed video on his efforts for Nissan, you can let us know in the comments. So, fast forward to February 2017. Ghosn announced that he would be stepping down as CEO of Nissan. This change was set to take effect on April 1st, 2017. However, he would continue to play an important role in the company by staying on as chairman. Then came November 19th, 2018. This day turned things upside down for Ghosn and Nissan. Why? Well, Ghosn was arrested by Tokyo prosecutors shortly after arriving in Japan on a private jet. And here's what will shock you more. Nissan accused him of underreporting about $80 million in compensation and misusing company assets, leading them to launch an internal investigation. Just think about it. The man who saved Nissan from bankruptcy was now facing allegations of financial misconduct. However, Ghosn denied the accusations, claiming that all payments were legal and approved by the company's auditors and board. He was detained for 108 days in the Tokyo detention house, often in solitary confinement, and faced long daily interrogations without a lawyer. Ghosn criticized these conditions as psychological pressure and described Japan's pre-trial system as hostage justice. His wife, Carol Ghosn, reached out to international human rights groups, expressing concerns about his treatment and lack of communication rights. Bail after bail was denied, but Ghosn was finally released in March 2019 after paying $9 million. However, his freedom came with very strict conditions. He was placed under constant surveillance, and one of the most difficult rules for him was being banned from contacting his wife. Yep, you heard that right. Ghosn spoke out against these measures, describing them as unfair and mentally draining. Later, in a video made public after another arrest, Ghosn claimed that he was the target of a plan by certain people at Nissan, who were scared of his efforts to make the Renault-Nissan alliance stronger. He even named specific Nissan executives, saying they were responsible and using Japan's legal system to remove him in a corporate takeover. Ghosn believed that the repeated arrests weren't about justice, but were meant to keep him locked up and make him too tired to defend himself against the accusations. And now, here's when things took a dramatic turn. On December 30th, 2019, Ghosn fled Japan, breaking the terms of his bail. But wait, this wasn't an ordinary flea. He did it in a box. Reports say he was smuggled out in a large audio equipment case, secretly loaded onto a private jet from Osaka to Istanbul and then to Beirut. Ghosn called this bold move an escape from injustice. He explained that he felt trapped in a legal system where he believed he was assumed guilty before proven innocent. In the beginning, he refused to share about the escape. However, he did eventually disclose the details in his interview with the BBC. So, when he wasn't allowed to meet his wife in Japan, he decided to take matters into his own hands and break free from the restraints of the Japanese legal system. The plan was, I could not show my face, so I have to be hidden somewhere, he said. And the only way I could be hidden was to be in a box or be in a luggage so nobody could see me. Nobody could recognize me, and the plan could work. Ghosn said that the idea of hiding in a large box meant to carry musical instruments made the most sense, especially since many concerts were happening in Japan at the time. But how could someone as famous as he was in Japan manage to get from his home in the capital to an airport unnoticed and carry out such an escape? He explained that the plan was to act as normal as possible on that day. He described it as starting like any other day, with a casual walk while dressed in normal clothes and behaving naturally, until everything suddenly changed. Ghosn traded his usual executive suits, which he'd worn for years as a major figure in the automotive industry, for more casual clothing like jeans and sneakers. He said, "You can imagine, I had to go to places I'd never been and buy things I'd never purchased before." He stressed that every part of the plan was about giving himself the best chance of success while avoiding any unwanted attention. So, from Tokyo, Mr. Ghosn traveled on a bullet train to Osaka, where a private jet was waiting for him at a local airport. But what about the entry of the musical box? Well, the box was waiting for him at a nearby hotel, and stepping inside it was a moment of intense focus. When you get in the box, you don't think about the past or the future, he explained. You only think about the moment. There's no fear, no emotions, just concentration on the fact that this is your one chance. If you fail, you'll pay the price with your life as a hostage in Japan. So, who was responsible for transporting that box? Well, two men, Michael Taylor and his son Peter, pretending to be musicians, helped transport Mr. Ghosn from the hotel to the airport. Inside the box, he remained for about an hour and a half, though to him, it felt like 1 year and a half. Finally, the private jet took off right on schedule, carrying Ghosn away from his extraordinary escape plan and into the night. Free from the cramped box, he flew uninterrupted until reaching Turkey, where he quickly switched planes. By morning, he landed safely in Beirut, a place where he knew he couldn't be forced back to Japan, since Lebanon has no extradition treaty with the country. What a relief, isn't it? The Japanese authorities condemned the escape in the strongest terms, viewing it as a blatant disregard for their legal system. The $14 million bail that Ghosn had secured was immediately forfeited, and international arrest warrants were issued in an effort to recapture him and bring him to justice. But, as we just said, Lebanon has no extradition treaty, so the country refused to extradite Ghosn. However, not everyone involved in the daring escape was as fortunate. Two Americans, Michael Taylor and his son Peter, who played key roles in their operation, have since been extradited to Japan and now face 3 years in prison. Additionally, Greg Kelly, a former Nissan executive and close associate of Ghosn, remains under house arrest in Tokyo. He's accused of helping conceal his boss's earnings, a charge Kelly continues to deny. So, did Ghosn forget everything and start living the rest of his life in peace? Not quite. After arriving in Lebanon, Ghosn filed a $1 billion lawsuit against Nissan and others he claimed were part of his arrest. He accused them of defamation, creating false evidence, and causing personal harm. He's openly spoken out in interviews and documentaries, insisting that his removal from power was part of a politically motivated plot within the company. Meanwhile, legal troubles outside Japan have persisted. In 2022, French prosecutors issued an international arrest warrant accusing Ghosn of misusing 15 million euros in company funds through an Omani dealership. Ghosn denied the allegations and said he was willing to cooperate with any legal system that could give him a fair trial. That same year, Greg Kelly was mostly cleared of charges in Japan. A Tokyo court found little evidence of criminal intent, leaving Kelly with a suspended sentence for a minor charge, while Nissan was fined 200 million yen. Ghosn took this as proof that the accusations against him were exaggerated and politically driven. Now, in 2025, Ghosn remains in Beirut under a travel ban, protected from extradition by Lebanese law. He vows to keep fighting to clear his name and reveal what he calls a corporate conspiracy backed by a justice system he believes is deeply flawed. Let us know in the comments who you think is speaking the truth. Leave a like if you found the video informative, and don't forget to subscribe, as this will help us come up with similar content in the future.